Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today is the 13th of November 2023. We have a very important topic for everyone, not just the gold bugs and equity bugs, also real estate bugs for all of us. I'm going to teach you not to just expect information, but where you can find the resources of this information. Today is going to be specifically about the US and US information. I'm not just going to talk about the huge US debt. I'm going to show that to you as well, but the population dynamics, real estate, mortgage dynamics, gold and silver, energy dynamics, all in one link. So I attached the link into the explanation section of this video. You can always go back and refer to this address. Once we go together over this link, it's yours forever, free of charge. Okay, so shall we not lose time and just go ahead and continue with it? Okay, so this is what the chart looks like when you enter. Okay, it looks confusing and it's like moving a lot of parts at the same time. So we will start from the up left corner. Okay, usdebtclock.org, that's the addresses organization. This is the most important info everybody is checking on the uppermost left corner. This shows the momentary increase of US national debt. If it's increasing, it shows as increasing. As you can see, once I start this video, it was 501 million, 33 trillion, 721 billion, 502 million US dollars. Forget about the last 6 digits. As you will see, in a few seconds, you will see that it's increasing by $1 million every couple of seconds, not even minutes, okay? $1 million. So this is US debt. As you see, this 502 will become 503 million. So you can guess how fast this goes up. Okay, this is like this is where you can call going up like a rocket instead of blockchains, and this is where the real rocket is. But unfortunately, this is a terrible rocket. It's a debt rocket. It's where people will pay through their taxes. Okay, so it's terrible. So right now, next to the right of it, right of this section, just as I am showing to you, and next to the U.S. national debt, this debt first citizen. This is just a division of United States population, which is also shown on this chart. You can come just a bit down here. 335,454,584. This is US population. Now a new baby came, it's 85, okay? If somebody dies, these are deducted. So it's 335.5 million people living in the United States population. So this debt is divided to this number. So every citizen, including babies and 90-year-old people, they all have $100,000 government debt, okay? But they are not all taxpayers, because we're talking about a family. They say it's a family of 5, father, mother, and 3 children. Then only, let's say, the father and mother are the taxpayers. It's very common in states that they are both working. So it's $260,000 per taxpayer. Each American owes government, because, well, they don't spend it, but government doesn't care, That's why it's very easy to run government and run for politics, because people you spend and people just pay, okay, for years to come. So this is the federal spending, budget deficit. As you can see, U.S. budget deficit's already around 2 trillion, close to $2 trillion. They don't care about if there's a budget ceiling or anything. Ceiling is like, all blown up, okay? $2 trillion, okay? The total amount that Fed reduced after this high inflation is just as much as what the US budget deficit is equal to. Okay, so they didn't save anything. Okay, it's a garbage. Okay, now we are looking at the past. US federal debt, government debt to GDP. That means the production of the United States. Because if you are receiving very high salary, let's say $100,000 a year, if you owe $10,000, that's only 10%. But if you still owe $10,000, but your salary is only $20,000, that's 50%. Okay, so this includes that the GDP of the United States growing, but the loan and debt is growing faster. So in 1960 to 60, the total debt was only half of the production. In 1980, it became less, which is very good, 35%. In 2000, it jumped to 55.5%. And now it's a whopping, terrible 125%. So this is like you making $100,000 a year, but you owe about $125,000, okay? You have to pay from saving, from if you ever pay, then, or you go bankrupt. That's another thing. So I think we covered this first window truly. Let's skip to the next second let's say chart. This is U.S. federal tax revenue. As you can see, the federal taxes are all about almost 4.5 trillion TL, and the loan is 33 trillion. Okay, so tax is only this much. So 2 trillion of it is income tax. Then the workers who pay the payroll tax. Okay, this is all the income, the billionaires and millionaires and everybody pays. Payroll tax is only the part, as you see, majority is paid through payroll, like in all countries, the poor get poorer. Excise tax. Then we have in the United States, specific to states, every state also has a revenue on top of the federal revenue. So that if we add all the revenues, it's about $7 trillion, let's say, annual. Okay, local revenue, all these added up, the state debt is 1 trillion so much. Okay, 274 per citizen, every state, addition to the government debt. Okay, this is in addition to the government debt you owe as a taxpayer, per citizen 100,000. Add another 3,811. We can call this is also state tax. Okay, state debt. So all local debt per citizen, municipal employees, average salary. Municipal employees in the US are 19.5 million people, and their average salary is $74,000 US. In US, salaries are, of course, reported gross. They have to pay taxes from here. Okay, so 73,000. Let's say they pay 15. Let's say they only receive at the end $50,000. That times 28. This is for Turkish calculation. 1.4 million, okay, per year divided by 12 months net. They get 117,000 TL. Who does? The municipal workers. Okay, they get that much money, average salary. So on the bottom here, U.S. gross domestic product. This is GDP, which is mentioned here, which we divided the debt to the income of the father. Okay, this is the income of the father, $27 trillion. Okay, so that's why dividing this loan 33.7 to this number, you get this 124.44. Okay, these are all automatic calculations projecting to you right live. Okay, live. So I hope you are getting some of these things. And okay, I'm not just going to talk US debt and other things. Now you will see. This is largest budget items. Medicare, this is health health payments, if you are a foreigner, Medicare may not mean much to you. $1.5 trillion per year on and more than Social Security, okay, which is 1.37. So health portion is higher than total Social Security payments that are made to people. And in Turkey, this is very cheap, If you never pay anything, you pay 450 TL, okay, and the whole family gets a coverage. So it's for nonsense saving, if you don't have to, I wouldn't pay a penny to the Social Security, because medical air part is much valuable than the retirement pay, okay? So Social Security, as you see, the defense money paid, $827.5 billion in the US budget currently, and it's going up, fast, very fast, because they are in every war, send nuclear ships, sent to Ukraine, sent to here, sent there, sent the planes to China Sea. So these are all payments you got to pay, Americans have to pay. So now the most important is the interest on debt. As you see, right now, because the Fed increased the interest rate, they reached $681 billion, okay, which is very close to US defense budget, and will exceed. Very soon will exceed, because the old debts, which are only 1 or 2%, are being closed, and new debt at 5% are received by the government. So this was going to pass the defense budget. In a year, the Social Security and Medicare will also be passed within 2 years, okay? So this is where USA is heading, okay? Total collapse in payments of the budget. I'm not saying it. This debt clock is saying it. So they must find a solution to cut these expenses, or try to increase these incomes, or play other tricks. Maybe they can create dollars, so in one day, dollar can fall 100%, and new dollar may come, new dollar may come. So be prepared. Only in commodities you can save yourself, or real estate, or real product. If you have money in the bank or anything else, that's on paper, you may become suddenly vanished like a Lebanese, okay? All your fortunes may vanish. So US total interest paid, as you see, is $3.850 trillion. Okay. Now check this out. The whole taxes collected were 4.4. Only interest paid is 3,850. Okay. So this is terrible, and what you get from taxes is interest rate is nothing, because this is a payment for the past. You're not getting bridges, roads, anything. Okay. This is interest is for the past. The money you used in the past, and it's no use to you. You cannot say, I'm receiving this and this from government. You are getting nothing against 3.85 trillion. Okay. Right now, the families, in a way, are saving money still, because they are different from government. Per family saving is $11,180. This is a disaster, of course, thinking this country, or the United States, is the richest, wealthiest reserve money country in the world. Only $11,000, friends, per family, not per person. Okay. And then we have the personal debts, bank interest received, bank interest paid, $25 trillion personal debt. Okay. US national debt is much more than the people who live in it. They only owe 25 trillion. That's also bad. But personal debt per citizen, not family, is 74.715. Okay, this may not be as bad as it looks. It's not credit card debt only, because it has like the mortgage, houses you own, cars you own. So it may have some sort of collateral. Okay, so if I owe everyone, let's say 2 million TL, but if I have a 6 million house and 2 million car, gold, credit, then this is not that dangerous. But if it's all on credit cards and consumed, that's a big trouble. And as you will see, student loans here shown $1.8 trillion, which is not common for Turkey. Per every student, $40,000. And credit card debt is also shown down here, $1.320 trillion. Per cardholder, $8,000. So per cardholder, family savings is $11,000. Per cardholder, $8,000. So 50% of the American families live paycheck to paycheck. They have no savings. Okay, if they lose their job or they cannot find a job, they're hungry. Okay, they don't have a home, they don't have electricity, nothing. Okay, so no security kept aside. This is what Japanese are good at. They save money. So now the money creation, this is printing of money, as you know, reason for inflation. And Treasury US dollars, 1.5 trillion. US M2 money supply. Okay, this is Fed printing money, $20.6 trillion. This used to be 22 trillion. With the tightening, Fed so far only saved 1.4, let's say $2 trillion. This is all the hustle and bustle lived, and so inflation is narrowed only this much. Okay, they deleted only $2 trillion worth of money. So this went down. Okay, as you see, it's going down. For 858, 900, you see, it's going down. So Fed is still squeezing on the money supply, but too late, too little. Okay, currency and derivatives. This is explosive. $635 trillion. This is what we call shadow banking system. Although you may be loaning, money for $100,000 somewhere, and the banks turn it around 6, 7, 8 times. So the real money in the derivatives is $635 trillion. I don't think world has this much money. Okay, so suddenly this is a very big dangerous thing, because when things don't fall to pieces, this is not important. But if things fall apart and everybody starts rushing to the banks and to everywhere, now this collapse is not going to be 33 trillion. It's going to be $633 trillion. Okay. Now, U.S. debt held by foreign countries. This is a good help. The Americans are exporting their inflation. As you see, foreign countries are holding American securities or government debts of $7.7 trillion. So if they give up on these and like China and all others decide to sell it, that's why the treasuries are getting terrible rates, because they are not buying at the old pace. Okay, this seems to be increasing very slightly, very slowly. You can check this number. U.S. trade deficit. Some people are saying, isn't it good that the U.S. dollar will lose value during recession? Unfortunately, not so much, because as you see, U.S. trade has a deficit, not like China. It's a 1 trillion US dollars per year deficit, and 275 billion is still with China. 1/4 of this trade deficit is with China. Okay, so they are exporting less than they are importing, just like Turkey. Okay, and U.S. imported oil. U.S. is the #1 oil producer in the world, not Saudi Arabia or anywhere else. But still, they are importing $250 billion worth of oil. Okay, and they as you know, they distributed their oil reserves to Europe, and right now the oil reserves are at almost zero. So they have to fill them up. Okay, So they have to import more. They have to import more. I don't know which country. They are probably not importing from Russia. Huh? Maybe it's shown as Arabian or Chinese oil. China doesn't have oil, so maybe Arabian oil is shown to them as Russian oil, maybe as well. Okay, so we don't know. We cannot blame that. Now let's go up here at the second portion. U.S. population, as I said, is 335 million people. U.S. workforce, of this 335 million, 162 million people are working right now. There's a workforce, okay? So in 2000, it was similar. So did it increase? No, it's almost same. In 23 years, it's same workforce. And calculation of this workforce is another problem. The people may be having 2 jobs, because they cannot meet their ends. So they have 3 jobs, and this can calculate the workforce as 3 people instead of 1. Because as you see, U.S. income taxpayers are only 128 million. Okay? Which means if each of these people were workers, there would be 62 million income taxpayers. So what happens to the other ones? They are working on tips at the restaurants. Okay, official unemployed is 6.4. This is official unemployed, receiving unemployment benefits. It's a benefit to lose your job. Actual unemployed is 11 million. Okay, it's a lot more than because this is not shown. And U.S. Economy is very resilient, a lot of jobs created. So why aren't these 11 million working? Health cost per person, how much dollar is available, oil to solar ratio. Okay, it's increasing, of course, because with the solar and green, let's say, slow revolution, because we know the fossil fuels are increasing as well. Now, private sector jobs, not in labor force now. Full-time workers are, as you see, 134 million people are full-time, working long hours. 27 million are part-time. These may be same people going to work after hours as well. So we can say, if we divide this, every 1 in 6 Americans are working part-time jobs. Okay, part-time during day. Well, it's a big thing with college tuitions, but we can have solid dollar to silver ratio. This may sound increasing. It from 1913 it was 2.71. It's now 0. Dollar is worthless. Okay, because when you divide this to dollar money supply, dollar is not worth any silver right now. Okay, so dollar to silver ratio 1.55 per ounce. Okay, this is now. This is 5 years. Okay, now it's 0. 10 years ago, 1.11 dollar was. So now silver is even getting valuable, although we know silver hasn't gained so much recently. The workers out of this 128 million private jobs, only 15 million, okay, like 1 in 6 workers are unionized, okay, and 23 million are government workers of this 128. So private sector jobs are only 128 million. Government is providing 24 million jobs, which is not a good ratio, because government does not produce anything. People have to pay it through their taxes and U.S. national debt. Okay, median income in the U.S. is $36,000. Median new home, if you want to buy a new home, median price, not the cheapest house, not most expensive house, $426,000, the median house. So if you want to buy a house in the United States, just, anything median means ortalama bir ev, okay? Divided by 29, this is, 426,000. I have to make this calculation so you can see the prices of houses, because most people claim you can buy this price a house in Miami, this and that. Okay, it's 12.3 million Turkish lira. Median house, not a Miami seaside house, okay? This is a median house. Miami seaside one room, one bedroom houses start from $500,000, go up to $2 million. I'm checking that area. I'm knowledgeable about those areas. So you cannot say if we buy a house in Turkey for $80,000, $90,000, $100,000, which is 2.8 million TL, which is very, very cheap comparatively. Some may argue Americans are getting very good salaries. It doesn't matter, because gold is all same price for Americans and Turks. They are not applying any deduction, okay? So houses are same. They are not applying deductions based on country. This is not, because we are talking bricks and metal and gold and silver and windows, okay? All imported material. Only land may affect, but in US houses, 33% is almost land. In Turkey, it's 50 to 60% is land. So now average new car in the States is $51,000. Okay, buying a new car, average, not a Lamborghini. Okay, 51,000 times 29. It's a 1.5 million TL. So as you see, average new car are not extremely cheap compared to Turkey. Okay, they may be better cars, but because we pay lots of taxes on cars, new cars especially. So it's a story. Now, dollar to gold ratio 5 years ago was $12.58 per ounce. Right now, 9.32. So dollar is losing value fast against gold. Okay, very fast. It's just melting away. Okay, and okay, now we talked about the U.S. money supply. Manufacturing numbers are here. U.S. bankruptcies. You can see how many bankruptcies, how many closings so far, how many people in manufacturing jobs, living in poverty. Look here. 43 million Americans are living in poverty. 27 million of them have no insurance. 651 people are homeless. This does not mean that they don't buy a home. This means they live in the streets, okay? They live in the streets. That's not what people who didn't buy houses, okay? They live in the streets. About more than 500,000 Americans. Drug debts, okay, that's those are arguable. US GDP to gold ratio 72, BRICS is 134. So these are many other calculations. US retirees, 58 million of these 335 million are retired, okay? And about 8.5 million disabled people in the United States. Medicare enrollees means people who are paying health insurance. And people who are receiving health insurance is, of course, 22 million more people, because they are retired. They are no longer paying Medicare, okay? US millionaires, now let's see the good side, 23 million people having $1 million. I think this is cash, because maybe if it includes the houses, Now that's terrible, I tell you, because this is in Turkish, it means one person all having 28, 29 million TL. Okay. Now we know there are houses 8, 7, 10, 15, 20 million, even one house at $1 million. So 23 million is not a very high number out of 335 million population. Just get the tax-paying people. Let's exclude the general children and this and that. So per taxpayers, as we calculated, then it becomes how many people are millionaires out of taxpayers. So we can look for that. And let's see. Top 1% wealth is $18.202 million. Okay, $1 million. This is top 1% in the US are not just millionaires, they have $18 million. Okay. So they are not 23 million. So they are much less than 23 million. These are just millionaires. These are 18 millionaires. Okay. They also have dollar to crypto ratio, M2 as a ratio of the US dollar. So these numbers, food stamps for recipients, means people who are hungry and getting government help with food stamps. Okay. So bottom 50% wealth is here. The bottom 50% of the United States only have $33,000, okay, which is half of this country, okay, which is about 160, 70 million people only have $33,000 wealth. Now we are getting close to the bottom. I want to see how much time we spent today. 32 minutes. It's already long, but I will also show you what other things are available. Small business assets, corporate assets. As you see, small businesses are not very small in the USA. Corporate are almost very close to the corporate small business. If small business collapse, economy collapses. Household assets are much more than, let's say, this is a million, trillion, okay, $180 trillion. So household assets are much higher than business assets, okay? US total national assets, 220 trillion TL. This is what US is worth. If they sell it all, everything is sold, $220 trillion. And that's assets per citizen is $654,000 if it was shared equally. But we know it's not. Other people only get, zero assets, okay? Social Security liability, Medicare liability, unfunded liability. Liability per citizen means debt per almost citizen is about 628,000. It's almost equal to assets per citizens. The liabilities per citizen is equal. Okay, now what else we can use useful here? As you see down here, you can make mortgage calculation. If you click here, gold supply demand, home sales, auto sales in the USA, energy output, gold and precious metals, you can click and find. Let's just check for mortgage loan calculator by clicking here. Okay. Okay, now you can see, I'm checking StreamYard. Okay, 28. You put a loan amount. Don't bother about this, yoga challenge. This is mortgage. This is regular loan. If you want to get a house mortgage, $300,000. If you pay 20% down, okay, and if you get a 30-year loan, at the interest rate, they don't have it 5.5 now. They have it close to 8%. Property taxes, it's big. Look, per year, okay? Depending on some states, it's extremely high. Insurance is very high in the US. You pay like $5,000 per year. In Turkey, you can buy a house for $50,000, okay? 10 years expenses, you can buy a house. Not a big one, but, 1+1 house for just the taxes they are paying. So first payment being on November 23, you can calculate here. It shows you you will pay principal. As you see, the first year you pay very little principal money. You only pay interest, okay? Interest, 19, 18. Taxes and insurances here. Balance is here. So you just, the amount of money you get, you keep paying for 30 years to clean it out. In 2053, you are out of debt, as you see here. But this is not, you pay total of $768,000. For how much? For $300,000, okay? You pay in US dollars more money than you got. But this is not as ugly as it looks, because US dollars depreciate in value in 30 years. So first years are the hardest years. Also, if you are going to, now let me go back to my face here. If you're going to buy a house and sell it in 4 or 5 years, don't bother buying, because in the US, you'll spend lots of money just for taxes and closing costs, this and that. So you have to keep it more than 5 to 15 years minimum. But if you are just an investor, you are buying to make money from the house, you can buy these houses, and when they appreciate fast, then you can get a HELOC, which means on the value you bought the house, let's say for $200,000. Now 5 years down the road, house is selling for $300,000. You can get additional loan for $100,000 and buy another house. Keep increasing the loan amount. That's how investors in US, some youngsters have 10, 20, 30, 130 apartments and houses this way. They have a very, very big loan, but they also have the houses as a collateral. So renters are helping the paying, because in most cases, if you buy a house which can pay close to your monthly mortgage payment by collecting rent, so most people are applying this. Even corporations are now buying, like BlackRock, and others. There are many buying residential houses and giving out to rent, because it's a good return for them. Okay. I think I don't want to go too much in detail. It's already 38 minutes. So I wish this helps. You can always get this link if you're curious from time to time. You don't have to show it in the TV in your room. But if you say, what, I wonder how much loan US has. I wonder how many people are having a job, how many have lost their jobs. All that information is available here. Okay. So I hope you get some use from this video today. And I hope you all have a nice week starting Monday. Okay.